All right, Mike, it is one day closer to opening day. Well, if you're listening today, there is one game tonight. And this is
Yes.
the first time in, I guess, Major League history that we've
Right.
had a single game on opening day.
Yeah, usually it is a full gamut of games. And then we have had some situations in the past that Major League Baseball has started abroad. I think, was it the Dodgers that played in Tokyo last year, the year before? But this is the first time it's a domestic game. And the San Francisco Giants are hosting the Bronx Bombers, the New York Yankees, tomorrow night. And the only place you're going to be able to get it is Netflix. Thank you for Major League Baseball for making sure that everyone's going to Netflix to get this first game.
Yeah, exactly. And that honestly is something that we will hit on throughout the year because, Major League Baseball has made it more accessible, but you shouldn't be blocked from 9 major league teams if you live in Iowa.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So there's still some flaws
The
that need to work
blackout
out
rules
with
are
the system.
still horrible. They are working on that. They would love everybody to go streaming. What is this going to look like in 4 or 5 years? Oh my gosh, we have no idea.
No clue.
Yeah, and one of the good things about the streaming, if we ever do get there, is going to be that all those blackout rules, those are going to be all gone. You're going to be able to get all major league games every single night, as far as I understand. Now, I'm going to take that with a grain of salt because we'll have to see what the final product actually is.
So speaking of rules, we will definitely be talking about more rules, more fodder for us to talk about. It's like Rob Manfred's like, back to the bullpen needs some more things to talk about before opening day.
Rob's doing a great job of making sure that we have material to talk about, and we appreciate
That's right. That's right. So we're gonna hit that on the back end. We'll touch again on the Yankees-Giants series. We're also going to be talking about the PCA era in Chicago. And let's start off, though, with the top 10 rotations.
Yeah.
Because you've got some teams in here, and we'll talk about it in a second, who I'm going, a top 10 rotation? Are they going to be a top 10 team? So some teams really built around pitching got a solid chance to take it to the postseason.
Yeah, well, last night, what did we do? We talked about the offense, or yesterday we talked about the offense. Today we'll talk about pitching, and then tomorrow I think we'll talk about overall, who are the best teams. And again, these are all opinions. We're supposed to be experts. Again, yes, you can see my eyebrows raise. But this is fun at the beginning of the season because at least we get an idea who each team has. And just to start this off, is it really surprising that the reigning 2-time World Series champion Dodgers yesterday had the best offense? Today, yeah, they have the best starting rotation.
Yeah, they do, and they even have one of their starters still on the shelf in Blake Snell.
Yeah,
but I mean Yoshi Yamamoto, Shohei Ohtani, I think he'll be brought along a little bit. Glass now, Emmett Sheehan, Roki Sasaki, who I think they were a little worried about in spring, but it seems like he's probably going to work things out. I mean, I think that team's too good, and the pitching and the coaching around him is probably too good for him to not have at least an above average season. But right behind them at number 2, Mike.
Well, hold on. We got to go a little bit deeper because we know listen, they only had one pitcher in their rotation last year in that list that threw at least 95 pitches, and that was Yoshi Yamamoto. Okay. Ends up being a World Series MVP, had an incredible, we really saw what he was really all about in that World Series, winning 3 games. But what do these guys like to do? They love to give everyone extra time. They use countless pitchers through the season. So what may be as important as the 5 guys we mentioned and Blake Snell still on the IL is River Ryan, Kyle Hart, Landon Knack. I mean, these are their depth guys that are going to get starts in the big leagues because none of these guys are going to throw. Heck, other than Yamamoto, none of these guys may even throw 150 innings, much less 180 or 200 innings, because they really try and limit the workload so that when you get late in the season, now you can go to your horses.
Yeah, exactly. And you even mentioned with Emmett Sheehan, Sasaki, and Morbileski, those guys are 25 and 26 years old. So those are your younger arms. Those are those are guys that over the course of a season can probably get better. And we know this, that an average team a team uses on average between 9 and 12 starting pitchers every year.
And the Dodgers were right there. I mean, you remember during the season last year, they were not the juggernaut that everyone thought they were. Actually, even through the playoffs and the World Series, they weren't exactly the juggernaut that everyone thought they were going to be.
Right.
And they had an off season, bring in Kyle Tucker. Okay, yeah, you rank them across the board number one. What does that really do? That puts crazy expectations on them.
Yeah, it does. It does put those crazy expectations, and that's where if you have an offense, it's key that they come through and they score runs. But coming in second, the Seattle Mariners, who are the reigning American League West champions, they were very close to punching their ticket to their first ever World Series. I mean, that is a city that has experienced heartbreak year after year after year. But the starting five of this is just nasty. And Brian Wu, Logan Gilbert, Luis Castillo, George Kirby, Emerson Hancock, Bryce Miller still going to be coming back. Bryce Miller is a very, very good pitcher.
To tell you the truth, I think these guys, you may be able to go pitch for pitch with the Dodgers. I mean, this is and we've covered the Astros for years, so we've watched these guys. These dudes are very good. And what did they do last year that was different than the previous years? I don't think they overachieved. I think they finally got up to their capabilities. I think, they had underachieved for several years prior to that. Brian Wu is going to be healthy. He's only 26-year-old. Gilbert is a guy that Logan Gilbert, he can be as good as anybody in the sport. We know Luis Castillo is the same thing. George Kirby, you got him in the 4-hole. Really? Dude is absolutely filthy. So, these guys are as good as anybody in the sport in their rotation.
Exactly. And we're going to get to a team that is a surprise to me. Well, I guess they're not a surprise to me in who they have in their starting rotation. But when you think of their team, you don't think right now top 10. But going right after the Mariners is number 3, the New York Yankees, which is interesting to me. Why? Because Garrett Cole, Carlos Rodon, and Clark Schmidt are all on the shelf early in the season, but yet they're still number 3 with Max Fried, Cam Schlittler, Will Warren, Ryan Weathers, and Luis Hill. I mean, these guys can pitch. This young pitcher is good.
And other than Max Fried, all these guys are in their 20s also. But, Garrett Cole's going to be, they're talking about maybe end of April into May somewhere, or I'm sorry, end of May into June. Carlos Rodon, maybe April to May. And then Clark Schmidt, I think they're talking about somewhere just in the middle of the season. So, the crazy thing is, as good as these guys already are, I mean, you've got some of the best arms in all of baseball coming off of the IL. We've seen Carlos Rodon be as next to unhittable. I mean, not even foul pitches off. Garrett Cole, former Cy Young Award winner. They've got these kind of dudes coming off the IL. So the future looks bright, going into the regular season here into the summer for the New York Yankees.
Yeah, I mean, I think the amount of rotations that are strong across baseball, it's a pretty good swath. You don't have just one or two teams at the top and everybody else is chasing them.
Right.
When you get into the Boston Red Sox who come in fourth, Garrett Crochet, Sonny Gray, Connolly Early, Ranger Suarez, and Brian Bello. But what I want to do on the other side of the break is I want you to talk about how you think the Red Sox will size up against the Yankees and the Blue Jays and the Orioles in that division in our next segment.
Hey, this is Jeff Carr from Locked On Reds. And I've reached the point in my life where my wife and I are looking toward the future. We've got the house, we've got the career, we even have an awesome dog, but now we need to secure that future. That's where Ethos comes in for us. When I look at this insurance or that insurance and I try to pick one, I might as well be reading an entirely different language. Ethos clears up the noise and gets me set up with exactly what I need, because Ethos makes getting life insurance fast and easy, and it's 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. Protect your family with life insurance from Ethos now by going to ethos.com/lockedonmlb. In as little as 10 minutes, you can get a free quote and up to $3 million in coverage at ethos.com/lockedonmlb. That's ethos.com/lockedonmlb, ethos.com/lockedonmlb. Application times and rates may vary.
What if sports were traded like markets? Now you can put your sports IQ to work in real time with Robinhood prediction markets. It's not just you against the house. It's you participating in a live market. You can buy or sell your positions live all game long. Use your sports knowledge in the moments that matter. Robinhood prediction markets changes the game. It's people moving the action. So when momentum shifts, you can move with it. I always knew the game, but never had a dynamic way to apply that knowledge. Now I can actually take part live in a market powered by people. You are no longer just a spectator. Play by play, you decide. Trade every play with Robinhood, now available across the U.S. Download the Robinhood app now to begin. Futures and cleared swaps trading involves significant risk and is not appropriate for everyone. Event contracts are offered by Robinhood Derivatives LLC, a registered futures commission merchant and swap firm.
Welcome back to the Bullpen, presented by Locked On, and we went to break talking about the Red Sox, and how are the Red Sox? How do they equate to the rest of the American League East? Garrett Crochet, this dude's as good as anybody in the sport. He is a legitimate Cy Young Award candidate. Sonny Gray, veteran guy, spins the ball very well, and then they brought in Ranger Suarez. And, that was a big addition. So I think they're going to be able to pitch with just about anyone, especially with a pretty solid offense that they have. So it's going to be a dogfight. The beast from the East, whoever comes out of there, is going to be well-versed in big games, because they're going to be playing them all the time, beating up on each other.
Yeah, exactly. And they even have some depth options that teams like the Houston Astros tried to pry out of their hands, and Peyton Toll and Johan Oliveto. These guys, these young pitchers, I mean, they are firebrands, Yeah. I mean, Connolly Early, Brian Bello, the two young guys that are in that rotation. Look, if Boston goes out there and hits, now I think they're going to really be missing Alex Bregman this year, but they've got to go with the horses that are in the barn. I mean, you've got Duran, you've got several players on this team, Willer Abreu, who can hit the ball well, and so I think their offense will be fine. And I mean, if this starting rotation, the key for these starting rotations, Mike, a lot of times is not only being able to go, a good 6 innings, maybe a strong 7, but it's when they go out there that they're efficient. And if they can go out there and be efficient, that 6 to 7 inning mark isn't that difficult. But if they go out there and get in trouble early, then you put pressure on the bullpen. Then each time you go out, you're thinking more about it. So, speak to that from a relief pitcher standpoint. When you're on that mound coming in, Are you worried about what the starting pitcher has done before, or is that something you just have no control over and you don't put that in your mind?
Yeah, that's got nothing. It doesn't have a whole lot to do with what you've done, just simply because you have a job to do, and when the phone rings down in the bullpen, it's for you. You go in and do whatever job you're supposed to do, which is get hitters out in whatever situation they decide to put you in. So what does this, but what it does do, I've always said, I've been part of some great bullpens, but I've always said, the sign of a great bullpen is actually a good starting rotation, a starting rotation that's not five and dive, a starting rotation that gets deep into the games, because there is a big difference between a bullpen covering, 7, 8 outs a night, doing it every night, and then a bullpen that has to cover 9, 10, 11 outs a night, because you just don't have enough quality arms to cover those kind of numbers. So that's why, when we're talking about these rotations, they need to go deep. Now, you also have to remember, pitchers just don't pitch as many innings. Starting pitchers don't pitch as many innings as they used to. That's why we're talking about 6-man rotations. That's why we're talking about using, 10, 11, 12, maybe up to 15 starting pitchers in a regular season, just because you're trying to keep everyone healthy and not tap out your bullpen.
Yeah, exactly. I wish we had time to go over all 10. I wish we had time to go over all 30, but for the sake of time, I want to cherry pick the Texas Rangers. They bring in back Nathan Eovaldi. Jacob deGrom looks like he's healthy and ready to go. Mackenzie Gore, they brought him in. Jack Leiter and Kumar Rocker, who Kumar Rocker really hasn't done what was expected out of college. He's had some health issues with his arm, and a lot of pressure, expectations, like you talk about. I actually had the chance to speak to him 2 off seasons ago. Was just really impressed with his mindset and the way he approaches everything he sees as an opportunity. But the Rangers got a formidable opponent in their pitching staff.
Yeah, well, listen, the Rangers, they could be, you could see this team fall down to, the mid-teens, or they could be much better than even 7th, because, Eovaldi's 36 years old. Jacob deGrom's 37 years old. Bringing on Mackenzie Gore was a big part of this, but he's always had great stuff, but he hasn't been able to figure out over the long haul of a season. If these dudes really just show up and can give quality innings, and a guy like Jacob deGrom, I mean, heck, he still has some of the better stuff in the league. These guys could be very, very good. An honorable mention in this top 10 that I wanted to touch on, kind of for the same reason, was the Philadelphia Phillies. They just signed Christopher Sanchez. They have Jesus Luzardo. They have Aaron Nola. They have Andrew Painter, Taijuan Walker. But all those guys, as great as they are, the guy that's going to make the Phillies either sink or swim is going to be Zach Wheeler. When he comes back off the IL, he is going to be the main guy. If he pitches well and he can be the Zach Wheeler of old, then this is going to be a very good rotation. They just need someone at the top, because I don't think Christopher Sanchez, as good as he's been, he's really quite ready to be that number 1 on this Phillies team. He needs somebody ahead of him. And then Aaron Nola still has to show that he's a comeback player after having a tough season last year.
Yeah, definitely. And a couple others that I'll mention before we get to our next segment is, obviously the ones that people are wondering, why haven't you talked about the Detroit Tigers or the Pittsburgh Pirates, with Mr. Tarek Skubal for the Tigers and Paul Skeens for the Pirates? But going down the Tigers starting rotation, Tarek Skubal, Framber Valdez, Jack Flaherty, Justin Verlander, homecoming, comes back, Casey Mize. And then the Pittsburgh Pirates, Paul Skeens, Mitch Keller, Braxton Ashcraft, Bubba Chandler, one top draft picks, and Jose Urquidy from the Houston Astros.
Yeah, how about that?
And so
we haven't seen his name in a while.
I know. So, and you've got some other teams that we didn't really go over, the Blue Jays, the Mets, and we'll get to those throughout the season. But it's going to be an exciting season. And even teams that aren't in this top 10 have some great rotations. Sure. And we're going to see, I think, some great things out of clubs that aren't even in this area, because some of these clubs may fall out and some of these clubs may climb. Sure. And that's what power
and listen,
rankings
there's going to be injuries. There's guys are going to get hurt. There's going to be, young players come in, veteran players come in. There's going to just be, it's going to be chaos, because that's how pitching is in Major League Baseball.
Yeah, that's right. I'm excited about the rest of this season, and we're going to dive into a little bit more just the Yankees and Giants game 1 and these tinkering of the rules. When will the madness stop? The tournament is here, and one of the best times of the year. Brackets, buzzer beaters, upsets. It's nonstop action from tip to final cut down. And right now, FanDuel is giving new customers a way to stay in the action all tournament long. You can get up to $300 back in bonus bets every day for 10 days. That means 10 chances to stay involved throughout the entire tournament. You can mix it up however you want. Game picks, futures, and even same-game parlays for bigger potential payouts. It's perfect for the tournament because every day there's something new. Different matchups, new storylines, and more ways to get involved as the bracket unfolds. So visit FanDuel.com to sign up today. That's FanDuel.com to get in the action. I'm thrilled today to be talking to you about our sponsor, MLB The Show 26. The greatest game in baseball is back with its latest installment. Baseball fans, you're going to have a hard time prying yourself away from this game. The thing I love about this game are the new player animations, the upgraded and updated player ratings. And look, you can live out your dream of becoming a Major League Baseball player by MLB The Show's career mode. You can get more out of the MLB season by playing as your franchise and your favorite team. Also, the players that you love. Whether you're a gamer, a baseball fan, or you just love America's favorite pastime, this is a new and exciting way to experience the season. Again, franchise mode, favorite teams, go win your World Series. Visit MLBThe.show/lockedon and use the code LOCKEDON to unlock a pack for use in Diamond Dynasty. Internet connection required. Available now on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series S and X, Nintendo Switch, rated E for everyone. Available now on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series S and X. All right, I want to thank y'all for tuning in to Back to the Bullpen with the Locked On Network. We want to make sure that you do check out the Everydayer Club, because you can get ad-free episodes of this show and so much more, access to a members-only Discord. Just go to lockedonpodcast.com/everydayer to join in the fun. So again, let's just look at this real quick, and we're not going to do like a deep dive pregame show here, but Yankees versus Giants. Yankees, expectations from the fan base. You were a Yankee at one point in your career. Mm-hmm. You understand the pressure of New York. Look, Aaron Judge is going to be judged, no pun intended, not on his regular season, but a lot of critics are going to look at his postseason. And is this going to be the year that Aaron Judge finally cracks that shell? Because he's a great regular season player, but he has not shown up for them. So this is the time to start off, right? To start off on the right foot.
Listen, I don't think that is really all that warranted. I mean, because he's had some big games. He's hit some big home runs, even in the postseason. But, when you get into a series, short series, long series, it doesn't matter. There's always guys on the team that you're just not going to let beat you. And a guy that's won MVPs and has the power that Judge does with the swing and miss, that's the guy that you put the asterisk beside. You say, okay, this dude, we'll walk him. But we are not going to let him drive the ball out of the ballpark in a big situation. And you just expand the zone. So listen, you're talking about, probably a future Hall of Famer already with the MVPs, with the numbers that he has put up. It's been really remarkable, especially since the way he started his career, which was basically swinging and missing at everything. But yeah, you want to get off on the right foot. Even though they're facing a tough pitcher in Logan Webb, he's got his work cut out for him, because that is still a very formidable offense that the Yankees are running out there.
Yeah, that's right. And they are in a tough division. And just in case you were wondering, sometimes you bury the lead on purpose. And today the Chicago Cubs did PCA or Pete Crow-Armstrong a solid in signing an extension, a pre-arbitration. He still has several pre-arbitration and arbitration years, meaning the Cubs could have waited. They get this guy. He is an elite defender, a Gold Glove, got amazing speed. He's got upside power, and his age is there. The guy's got what they call a high floor. And Mike, that's important. A high ceiling, anybody can have a high ceiling, but a high floor means they expect his baseline to be above average of most major league players.
Yeah, and you look at what are they doing? They're still projecting that he gets even better. Now, last year was a breakout season, even though he's only been in the league. This is only his second or third year. And what I think people really kind of got surprised was with the power. 31 home runs. He slugged almost 500. His OPS was a little low because his on-base percentage wasn't high. And his batting average was right about league average, which was at 247. But what you're looking at is a guy that, kind of has it all. He can drive. He actually was a 30-30 guy last year. He had 30 home runs, had 31 home runs, had 35 stolen bases. So it's a combination of power and speed, and they're projecting that he's going to continue to get better. 6-year deal, $115 million. That comes out just a little over $19 million per year for the 6 years. Takes a couple free agent years off the back end, and now is he going to get paid $19 million this year? No, it'll be stepped, and it'll be backloaded. But I mean, last year, All-Star, 9th in the MVP voting in the National League, won the Gold Glove. There's a big upside for PCA, and it's good to see that the Cubs realize this, and there's no doubt that they save money as long as he continues to play well.
Well, and he is right now, for all intents and purposes, the face of the franchise. They acquired him back in 2021 when they traded Javier Baez with the Mets, and that was.
Well, I'm gonna have to disagree with you. I think he may be one of the young faces of the franchise, but they got a dude at third base.
Yeah, so
a long-term deal,
right?
I don't know, Alex Bregman.
Alex Bregman. But the reason why I say that is because I think he's grown up in Chicago. I think he's going to be there longer than I think Alex Bregman will be there, and
Possibly.
To me, the PCA era has begun. Now, what's funny is when we talk about a 30-30 guy, I always remember Harold Reynolds telling the story when he stole 60 bases at the end of his season. He said he got a call from Ricky Henderson. Ricky Henderson always referred to himself in third person.
Always.
And he says,
Ricky
he got a call, and he's like, hello. He's like, hey, it's Ricky. He goes, hey, what's up, Ricky? He goes, Ricky had 60 stolen bases at the All-Star break. Click. So, yeah.
There's a lot of good stories about Ricky Henderson. A lot of good stories.
No, just story after story. Actually, growing up, met him at an autograph show. He had broken his hand, and he usually signed with his right hand. Well, he was an ambidextrous. Well, he signed the bat with his left hand.
There you go.
It was one of the only times, though, he signed autographs with his left hand. So I thought that was pretty cool. But yeah, I think with this guy, back in the day, you had situations with Anthony Rizzo. That extension worked out. Kyle Hendricks kept him in Chicago for 11 years. Negotiations with Javi Baez fell apart before free agency. We know he's with the Detroit Tigers now,
which worked out well for the Cubs that they did not sign Javi Baez.
Exactly. No, I mean, you would not have the Pete Crow-Armstrong era. And I remember, I believe it was last year when he went from first to home in like 8 or 9 seconds. He was scampering home, beating the ball, just this guy's energy. But I think his energy with Bregman's veteran presence is huge. Before we go, let's talk about this rule. What is going on with the coaches in the coaches box?
Okay, so it's not a new rule. It's a rule that's been in place for a long time.
Okay.
And there's two areas outside of first base and outside of third base. It's called the coaching box. Well, they're never in it. And there's several reasons why. One of the big ones is Major League Baseball players hit the ball very freaking hard. And the end of the coaching box on both sides is right at the bag. So it's 90 feet. So you're not very far away from the plate. And so what they would end up do is they would migrate towards the outfield. They would kind of just go out. And apparently there were some teams that were complaining that they were thinking they were getting, they can't get pitchers from the catcher because you have the pitch comm now.
Right.
So trying to see maybe grips or whatever. So Major League Baseball has said, okay, we're going to enforce this rule now. Now coaches have to be in the coaching box. You can't get closer to the field. You can't go towards the outfield, and you can't go towards the plate, but you can go further away from the field. You can go towards the dugout to try and be a little bit safer. So we'll have to see how strict they are about this. But right now they're saying they have to be in the coaching box. We've heard from both first base and third base coaches that have been doing it a long time that says, this is dangerous. We lost a player. We lost a coach years ago. Mike Coolball. He was a minor league, I think, first base coach, and he got hit. He was 35 years old. He got hit and passed away. It killed him. And that's when they started wearing helmets. But even with helmets on, you're still, these dudes are hitting 115, 118, 120 miles an hour. And the one that gets me is this one. Third base coach, guy on second base. He's trying to keep an eye on the base runner and keep an eye on the defense, and the pitcher makes a pitch. There's times that he may not even look, or he looks late. It sounds like a very dangerous situation.
Yeah, it does. And I had joked with you before the show. It would be like, hey, look, let's just remove the coaches from the base, from off the bases, and just put some sort of listening device system. And talk to them. Yeah, talk to them from the dugout, just like you call plays in the NFL. I mean, look, the game's changing so fast. But yeah, it will be interesting to see, because you don't want something bad to happen, but it will be interesting to see what happens or what residual comes from this if a coach gets beamed or line drive.
Last thing we want is somebody to get hurt. We do not want anyone to get hurt. We see, Olays every once in a while. Guys make good plays. Guys make bad plays. Guys make no plays at all. All they're just trying to do is get out of the way. But the last thing we want to see is somebody get hurt and have to be carted off the field.
That's right. Well, Mike, this has been an excellent episode. And once again, we look forward to y'all joining us every week, Monday through Friday, here on Backs to the Bullpen on the Locked On MLB channel. And, if you're listening to us, we appreciate our audience, whether you view, whether you watch, whether you listen, no matter whether you're from the East Coast, the West Coast, the North or South, we welcome everybody here. But this has been a great show, Mike. We want to just tell everybody that we want you to join the Everydayer Club. Stop in, say hi, leave comments, and let us know. Mike, tell them how they can get more involved in the show as we go throughout the season.
Well, listen, we're on social media. You can see right there below our names. You can reach out to us. You can give us ideas. If there's something you want to talk about, there's a question you want to ask, by all means, reach out. And who knows, you got a subject that we may end up using right here on the podcast itself. So, we need as many subscribers. We need people. Tell your families, tell your friends, tell the people you don't like. Come and check us out.
That's right. For myself and for Mike and everybody at Back to the Bullpen, thank you so much for joining us. So we're part of the #1 sports podcasting network in America. Y'all have a good one and play ball.
Adios.